Why does your hamster suddenly dig like the world is ending the moment the house finally falls quiet? All evening, it looked sleepy and harmless. Then midnight arrives and tiny paws start throwing bedding everywhere. The digging can sound frantic, almost desperate, especially when it happens in one stubborn corner every night. Many owners think something is wrong because the behavior feels sudden, messy, loud, and strangely intense. But to a hamster, nighttime is not the end of the day, it is the real beginning. When your room grows darker and calmer, your hamster's body shifts into its natural working hours. Energy rises, whiskers wake, senses sharpen, and the enclosure suddenly becomes a place to explore again. What looks like chaos to us often starts as a normal burst of nighttime purpose. Hamsters are built to move, forage, tunnel, and reorganize their world long after humans go still. So the first secret behind midnight digging is simple. Your hamster is following its ancient clock. In the wild, small prey animals avoid open daylight because visibility makes them easier to catch. Darkness gives a hamster cover, and cover gives confidence. So activity naturally blooms after dusk. That is why a sleepy hamster at dinner can become a tiny excavator by midnight. The behavior feels sudden to you, but inside the hamster, the shift was already programmed. Once active, a hamster rarely wants to sit still without a job to perform. Digging is one of its oldest jobs, older than wheels, cages, pellets, and living room routines. A hamster's paws, nose, and shoulders are designed for pushing through soft ground and loose substrate. Its body is small, but its instincts expect tunnels, chambers, and hidden paths under the surface. So when bedding starts flying, your hamster may be trying to build the kind of safety it understands. Digging is not random destruction, it is often architecture in hamster language. Under soil in nature, hamsters make spaces for sleeping, storing food, hiding, and regulating temperature. Those underground rooms stay darker, quieter, and more secure than the exposed world above. Even a pet hamster that has never seen a wild burrow still carries that blueprint. Instinct does not need memory lessons. It arrives already printed into the body. So if your hamster suddenly digs hard at night, it may be trying to create missing shelter. Sometimes the bedding is simply too shallow to satisfy that deep urge to disappear below. A surface layer can be soft, but it cannot become a tunnel if it collapses instantly. That failure can trigger repeated digging in the same spot over and over again. From outside the tank, it looks obsessive. From inside, the project just keeps failing. Your hamster is not being dramatic. It may be testing the ground for a workable burrow. Corner digging is especially common because corners feel structurally safe and easy to define. Two solid walls mimic boundaries, and boundaries help a small animal map secure space. The same logic explains digging under hides, beside wheels, or near heavy objects. Those places feel anchored, protected, and worth turning into a private underground room. So sudden nighttime digging often means instinct has found a target and decided to commit. Another reason digging suddenly intensifies is unmet activity needs inside a limited enclosure. A wheel helps with running, but it does not replace tunneling, shredding, climbing, and searching. When one natural behavior lacks an outlet, another behavior can become louder and more repetitive. Digging then turns into both construction and release, a job and a pressure valve. That is why a hamster with plenty of energy may dig harder after a long quiet day. Boredom in hamsters rarely looks like sadness. It often looks like relentless, practical motion. The paws keep working because the brain keeps asking for something meaningful to do. Add shallow bedding, and that restless energy has even fewer satisfying places to go. The result can be a burst of intense digging that seems to appear out of nowhere. But sudden does not always mean new. Sometimes you are only noticing the peak moment. Many hamsters begin with sniffing, pawing, and short test scratches before the bigger digging storm. If the room is quiet enough, you finally hear the behavior that was building all week. A change in closure can also trigger dramatic digging during the very next active period. New bedding texture, a moved hide, or a shifted bowl can reset the hamster's mental map. When the map changes, the hamster starts rebuilding order with its paws. Hamsters care deeply about familiar scent paths, hidden routes, and where important objects belong. Rearranging everything during cleaning can feel less like decorating and more like sudden territory loss. Digging then becomes a way to reclaim control over a world that no longer smells right. And then the same thing can happen after a deep clean that removes all the hamster's stored scent. To us it feels fresh and clean. To the hamster it can feel strangely erased. So a late night digging frenzy may be a rebuilding response, not a random mood swing. Temperature can also matter more than many owners expect from such a tiny animal. In the wild, burrows buffer heat and cold, so digging helps hamsters seek stable comfort. If the room becomes cooler at night, your hamster may dig to make a warmer nest pocket. If the enclosure feels exposed, it may dig to create insulation and a lower, sheltered chamber. Noise and vibration can trigger digging too, especially in sensitive animals with sharp hearing. A new fan, speaker bass, footsteps, or nearby movement can make the open surface feel unsafe. Digging downward is a prey animal's classic answer to feeling overstimulated above ground. Light pollution can play a role as well, especially when the room is never fully dim. Some hamsters delay activity, then explode into busier behavior once the environment finally feels safe enough. Food can be part of the story because hamsters do not just eat, they also cache and sort. Digging near the bowl may mean your hamster wants to bury food or move it somewhere private. That behavior is not greed, it is normal storage planning from an animal built for scarcity. A hamster may also dig before stuffing its cheeks, as if preparing a pantry floor. Under a hide, that same digging can be nest building mixed with food management. If your hamster is a female, cycles or nesting drive can sometimes intensify rearranging behaviors. She may gather bedding faster, deepen sleeping areas, and become more determined about protected corners. That still does not make the behavior irrational, it makes the goal more urgent. Young hamsters can dig with explosive energy simply because their bodies are restless and still maturing. Older hamsters may dig more selectively, focusing on comfort, support, and easy access to shelter. So the same action can carry different meanings depending on age, sex, and individual temperament. Watch where the digging happens, because location often explains motive better than intensity alone. Digging in open bedding usually points toward tunneling, foraging, or entertainment. Digging directly at glass or cage walls can suggest escape frustration or poor layout satisfaction. While digging repeatedly under one object may mean that spot feels safest for a future chamber. Digging in the sandbath can be cooling, grooming, or simply texture preference. Some hamsters love resistance differences and switch materials the way humans change tools. Fast pauses with sniffing usually mean investigation, not panic. Fast digging with flattened ears, freezing, or sudden dashing can suggest stress layered onto instinct. So body language matters just as much as the digging itself. A relaxed hamster often digs, pauses, sniffs, grooms, and returns to work in a steady rhythm. A stressed hamster may look jerky, hyper-vigilant, or quick to startle at every tiny sound. Check the fur, breathing, eyes, and posture before deciding the behavior is merely quirky. Healthy nighttime digging comes with bright curiosity, or not obvious weakness, pain, or labored movement. If digging appears alongside lethargy, weight loss, limping, or breathing trouble, that needs attention fast. But in most healthy hamsters, the real issue is not madness, it is mismatch. The enclosure may be too bare for the instincts living inside that small body. Deep bedding is often the single biggest change that transforms frantic digging into satisfying burrowing. When the substrate holds shape, the hamster can finally finish the job it keeps starting. Success reduces repetition, because the behavior reaches a real physical conclusion. More clutter helps too, not messy clutter, but purposeful cover and layered roots. Cork tunnels, hides, sprays, paper nesting, and chew-safe textures make the surface feel meaningful. A rich enclosure gives the hamster choices, and then choices reduce frantic insistence on one impossible task. Scatter feeding can redirect some digging energy into natural foraging instead of pure corner excavation. When food must be found, searched, carried, and sorted, the night gains structure. Stable layout matters as much as enrichment because predictability helps prey animals feel secure. Clean selectively when possible, leaving some familiar scent so the hamster does not lose its map. Keep the room calm at night if you want less stress layered onto normal activity. Soft darkness, steady temperature, and fewer vibrations make burrowing feel purposeful instead of urgent. And remember that hamsters are not truly silent pets once their real schedule begins. A quiet day animal in your imagination may become a busy night worker in reality. That difference is not misbehavior. It is honesty about what a hamster actually is. The digging is often your clearest window into its species, not a flaw in its personality. When you watch closely, the frenzy starts to look less like panic and more like problem solving. Tiny paws, test depth, move fibers, reshape edges, and keep adjusting until the space feels right. Your hamster is not trying to annoy you, it is trying to make sense of home. That is why punishment never helps, because instinct cannot be scolded out of a prey animal. Understanding works better than stopping, especially when the behavior is rooted in survival design. Give the hamster a world it can dig through, not just live on top of. Then night stops feeling like a battle and starts revealing a secret life beneath the bedding. You may even notice quieter confidence once proper tunnels, nests, and hidden roots finally exist. The wild blueprint settles because the enclosure no longer fights it every evening. And what sounded frantic before can soften into steady, meaningful nighttime labor. In that softer rhythm, the hamster looks less mysterious and more understandable. It is still busy, still nocturnal, still wonderfully committed to rearranging its tiny underground world. So why does a hamster suddenly dig like crazy at night? Usually because night wakes its instincts, and those instincts are searching for safety, structure, and satisfying work. The more clearly you read the digging, the more clearly you understand the animal. Beneath the noise and flying bedding, your hamster is telling you what its body was built to need. And once you answer that need, the midnight digging stops feeling wild and starts feeling deeply logical.